Hi, this is Igor. Productions will probably rely more on CG gunshots after the terrible tragic accident on the set of Rust. At this point, everyone knows how to add muzzle flashes into shots, but there's more than that that's needed to make a convincing gunfire comp. There's smoke, there's incident light, there's recoil, and then there's a relatively simple but often overlooked shell casing ejection. I will show you how to create a 3D particle-based shell casing ejection in Resolve. In part 1, we'll start with modeling our own shell casing. In part 2, we'll use a 3D particle system in Fusion to animate random shell casing ejection. Let's start modeling by putting a Fusion comp on the timeline. I will add a Shape 3D node. It defaults to a plane. We'll switch that to cylinder. Let's put it in a wireframe so we can see it better and zoom out. We'll make a really low polygon count model because we don't need high detail. We'll be pretty far from the shells. So 8 sides is, I think, enough. Let's increase the height. And this is our starting point. I will add a 3D merge and maybe go to a single view here. At this point, probably if you press Shift Q, you'll be happier with the top, front, and the side view, as well as the 3D view here. I will press F2 to rename this to cylinder, and then Control C and Control V, copy and paste it, connect it to the merge. This one will reduce the height, move it down here. Let's zoom in so we can see better what we're doing here. Okay, I will copy this and paste it again. We'll call the first one we made bottom 1. We'll call the second one bottom 2. Let's move the bottom 2 down here, connect it so we can see it. Okay, so the bottom one is going to be the little indentation in the shell. But to make that happen, we have to reduce the radius a little bit. Okay, and then we're just going to line it up here. We don't have to be super precise because this will be very small. And then the bottom one, I'm going to cut the height in half, which you can just go divided by 2. Move it up here. So we have the bottom of the shell. These checkboxes for caps, we need to check that on the bottom one because these cylinders don't have any caps, which you can't really see in the wireframe rendering. But we'll turn it on. This one does not need the caps because they're completely covered. And our main cylinder does need the bottom cap, but not the top cap. So let's scroll up to the top now. I will copy and paste the cylinder, and we'll call this cone. And I will switch the shape from cylinder to cone. Turn on the wireframe. Let's drag it up here. Now this looks like a rocket. That's not what we want. We'll open up the top radius, decrease the height, maybe like that. Bring this down here, and then I will paste the cylinder last time, and this will become the top. Reduce the height, you know the drill, and move it up there to the top. Now the radius of the cylinder has to be the same as the radius of this top circle on the cone, and we have that right here. Top radius is 0.71. So if we just type in, this is 0.71. And reduce the height. Of course, these measurements you can get from an actual shell. There's probably specs on the internet, or if you have one, you can measure it. You probably don't need to go crazy as far as the precision because all of this is going to be very small. So now I'm just going to line these up to make sure all these gaps are closed. I can do it interactively in the quad view. I can also do it here. That's pretty good. And then for the top, and that's it. So I will switch away from the quad view by pressing Shift Q. And this is our shell. Now we can start working on the shading and the texture. Let's add another Merge 3D and Render 3D. I will also add a Transform 3D to make this a little smaller here so we can see it better. We'll add a couple of lights to the Merge 3D. I'll start with an ambient light. in our render 3D, we also have to enable lighting, otherwise we won't see it. So ambient light is just a flat omnidirectional light. But to get some shading, we have to add 2 point lights. I can copy and paste this point light. I switch to a dual screen view. I will shift Q again to get a quad view so I can see where those lights are. They're all in the middle of the object, which is not helping us. So this one I brought to the front. Let's move it off to the right. Reduce the intensity a little bit. The point light 1, I'm going to move to the back and to the left to get a little kick on the side. So now this is starting to look like something, but it still looks very plasticky. So I will add a shader. So now shaders would normally add them to these objects. There's a quicker way because we have several of these. I will do a replace material, and then we'll connect a Phong shader to this replace material. So let's get started by making that kind of brassy color. Then go to the specular highlights. We'll reduce the exponent, increase the intensity. I will take this picker and pick one of these, and then I will just adjust it a little more. Now let's reduce the light intensity here in the back. Okay, maybe reduce the ambient intensity a little bit. We'll dirty it up a little bit and we'll get there. To get some texture going, I will apply a fast noise as a... Where did it go? I will apply fast noise texture to one of the shader's specular inputs. I applied it to the, if you see in the lower left here, specular color material. And see how that already kind of made it a little dirtier, a little grittier? We can play with the settings to get the amount of dirtiness that we want. Okay, already a little better. And then one more thing I'll do, let's move this down a little bit. We're going to add one more texture, and I will start with a background. Since it's going to be wrapping around the cylinder, I'll make it a little wider than it's tall. So let's do maybe 1200 by 600, and we'll add a paint to it. With a fairly wide brush, I will pick this color, make it even a little brighter. Just fill this in. This texture is going to simulate the darkening of the tip from the hot gases. So let's just gradually darken this thing. Normally these left and right edges would have to be seamless because the texture will wrap around, but the model is going to be spinning so fast that you won't really see a gap. So maybe something like this. These paint strokes are only 1 frame long. I will add a time speed of 0 to freeze the strokes. We'll connect this to the diffuse input material, and if you hold the Alt key when you're connecting it to the node, it will present you with this selection of inputs. So we'll go here. See how the texture got applied to each one of these 5 cylindrical elements separately. It almost looks good, but it's not. Like, see how the gradient is repeating here, here, and here. So what we have to do is we have to do the UV remap. So we'll select the replace material, control space, type in UV map. UV map is going to be cylindrical, and we'll fit it to this thing. And now it wraps perfectly. See how it's kind of richer, darker at the top. That's it for making the model of the shell casing. In part 2, we'll use the particle system to animate these. Thank you for watching.